What's up guys, Jonny May here from Piano with Jonny, and today I'm going to tell you 10 reasons why you should start with blues before you start jazz piano. Okay, reason number one is because in blues you're going to play much simpler chords than you would if you were playing jazz piano. For example, if you're playing a chord like a C7 in jazz, you're going to play it like that, okay? And you're going to have a lot of other kind of big sounding chords. Okay, stuff like that. But guys, in blues piano, you have very simple chords called dominant seventh chords, and so they're much, much easier to learn. Reason number two is that you have fewer chords in blues music. So when you play jazz piano, you pull open a tune, sometimes you might have 20, 30, maybe 40 different chords in the same tune. Like if you look at a tune like Lush Life, it has a ton of chords in it. But guys, in jazz music, you only have 3 different chords. If you're playing in the key of C, you got C7, F7, and G7. So you only need to know 3 chords, generally speaking, to play the blues. Reason number 3 is that blues follows the 12-bar blues form. And the 12-bar blues form is a very predictable sequence of chords. You're usually on a 1 chord for 4 measures, then a 4 chord for 2 measures, a 1 chord for 2 measures, and then a 5, 4, and a 1 chord. And almost every blues tune follows this form. Whereas if you pull open a jazz book and you look at the different tunes, most tunes don't follow the same order of chords. And so usually every tune is a little bit different. So the blues is much easier to learn because once you learn the 12-bar blues form, you can play almost any blues. Okay, reason number 4 is that blues melodies are oftentimes much simpler than jazz melodies. And what I want to do here is play a typical blues melody that you might play from a fake book. Okay, guys, that melody only uses 3 notes. And the cool thing with blues is oftentimes you repeat the same melodic figure over the next set of chords. Okay, so it's really easy to learn. If you look at most jazz tunes, oftentimes the melody uses a lot more notes, and oftentimes the melody sort of meanders about. It doesn't necessarily stick with that same phrase. All right, reason number 5 you should start with blues is typically played in 3 keys. Meaning, normally when I sit down, I look at a blues tune, it's either going to be in the key of C, a C blues, it's going to be an F blues, or it's going to be a G blues, okay? And so if you learn the blues form, the 12-bar blues form in these 3 keys, most tunes that you encounter are going to be in these 3 keys, so you're going to have an easier time playing them. Whereas in jazz music, you're going to see tunes in practically every single one of the 12 keys. All right, guys, reason number 6 that it's better to start with blues is because when you improvise over the blues, you really only need to learn 1 scale. It's called the C blues scale. Okay, and you can create some really cool lines with this scale. Whereas guys, in jazz music, you have a ton of different scales that you can use to solo with. For example, in a dominant chord, you can use like 5, 6, or 7 different scales, like the bebop scale, diminished scale, fully altered scale. Okay, you can use Mixolydian. Okay, lots and lots of different scales, but with blues, you only really need to know 1 scale to improvise. All right, reason number 7 I think you should start with blues is because in blues, we have a very simple left hand. Okay, it's called the blues shuffle, and it works over just about any blues. Whereas in jazz music, you've got walking bass lines. Okay? And there's a lot of ways you can walk bass lines, and it gets kind of confusing. And there's also other types of left-hand patterns like the stride pattern. Okay? And so there's a lot of different options with jazz music, whereas typically in blues you can sort of sit on that shuffle the whole time and it sounds really nice. All right, reason number 8 I think it's better to start with blues is because in blues you have blues licks. Okay? And blues licks are these very short, repeated phrases that you can play over any chord in the blues. You can also connect your blues licks to create longer licks. And in jazz music, you do have licks, but you certainly don't have as many licks in jazz music as you do in blues music. So when you want to improvise over a blues, it's much easier because you can use these blues licks in your improvisations. All right, guys, reason number 9 that I think it's better to start with the blues is because blues is the foundation of rock music and rock and roll music. What I want to do is play you guys a little blues shuffle and then show you how that turned into rock and roll. Okay? And so all of these artists that emerged in the 1950s, guys like Elvis, guys like Jerry Lee Lewis, and sort of the emergence of rock and roll is actually based in blues music. And so if you go into the 60s, 70s, and even 80s rock music, all of that music has that foundation of the blues, whereas swing music is also related to the blues, but it's kind of over here, whereas you have all these rock genres that are based in the blues. So the blues is a very good foundation if you want to move into rock and roll music. All right, guys, and finally, reason number 10 I think you should start with the blues is that I think blues does not need to have that polished sound that we oftentimes want to hear in classical musicians and also in jazz music. For blues music, you want it to kind of be rough around the edges. It needs to be a little bit gritty and a little bit human. You don't want it to sound too perfect. And so if you want to start, learning jazz piano, you want to learn how to improvise, start with the blues, because even if it's not perfect and it doesn't have that polished sound, that's okay. In some ways, it actually makes it sound a little bit better and a little more human. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And guys, if you enjoyed this lesson, I want to give you guys a quick summary of some of our other blues lessons at pianowithjohnny.com. Check it out. All right, guys, we're looking here at our blues roadmap at pianowithjohnny.com. These are all of our blues courses that we have for our members. And we have the 10-lesson blues challenge. Guys, this is over 3 hours of blues instruction where I teach you how to improvise over the blues. I teach you guys slides. Okay, we do eighth notes, we do triplets, we do runs, we do rolls, tremolos, all these fancy fun things. By the way, this is our beginner intermediate roadmap. So if you're more on the beginner side, this is for you guys. I teach you guys different left-hand blues patterns. This is 4 shuffle patterns, the turnaround pattern, 4 walking bass pattern. Okay, a lot of fun, cool patterns. We look at a country blues pattern, a boogie pattern. Okay, stride blues, okay, teach you all that fun stuff. We got the Bible of Blues riffs. This is 60 different blues riffs and licks for piano. Our members absolutely love these courses because it's such a solid foundation in blues. We got the slow blues left hand live workshop. This is where I teach you multiple left hand slow blues patterns if you like that genre. That kind of a sound. Jazzy blues comping. If you kind of like that jazzy sound, it's super fun. We got the Cruella de Vil course. Okay, we do this in a burlesque blues style. That's a ton of fun. We got the 4 on the floor course. Okay, so we're playing on every single beat. How to solo over the blues. This is a live workshop that we did. You learn slides and turns. Okay, rolls. Okay, a ton of fun. We got the St. Louis Blues course. Okay. We talk about how to take that lead sheet and transform it into a blues. And then we have the intermediate advanced roadmap here with a lot of the same courses, but for intermediate and advanced students. You learn a lot of really fun stuff. Got the Cruella de Vil course, the burlesque blues course is a ton of fun. Okay, it has a kind of old school vaudeville sound, Bernie's slow blues. Ton of fun. Then we got the 4 on the floor course. You guys can get full access to all of our content, all of our video lessons at pianowithjohnny.com. We currently have over 400 lessons in jazz, blues, boogie woogie, funk, pop, rock, theory, improvisation, technique. Guys, we have the full learning platform and we have lessons for all playing levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced pianists, and we put new courses out every single month. Also, as a member at Piano with Johnny, you get to participate in our live monthly events. Every month we do a live Q&A where you can ask me practice questions. We do a live workshop lesson where you can ask me questions. We do weekly challenges for our members. We offer our members sheet music ear training exercises. Guys, it is the full platform, so if you're looking for a place to learn piano online, check out Piano with Jonny. It is the coolest place to learn. I'll put a link to that below, and I'll see you guys in the next quick tip.